All right, let's get started. So, tonight we're talking about uh, calming down for the holidays. And I chose this topic because I relate, and I think that so many do this time of year. And I'm going to kind of teach it a little differently because I want to teach you some things to do to avoid the stress, first of all. And then we're going to go from there. And I'm gonna show you. I've got quite a few different things that I'm not going to linger on, but I'm going to show you briefly. But there's a lot of happy at this time of year, but there's also a lot of emotion and a lot of stress, and a lot of busyness. And especially, I think, with women. Now, I found out the other day that there's a man that cooks the entire Thanksgiving dinner, and his mother and wife only have to set the table and clean it up. So, aren't they lucky? But for anybody that's doing all the things for Christmas, no matter who it is, male or female, but of course we have lots of females in here. We are always really busy this time of year. Wouldn't you agree? So we're going to talk about calming the mind, the body, and the soul. And something that I want you to, and by the way, I've got at least one story after we turn off the recording. So if you get off too early, you'll miss that. But it's it's a game changer. But I can't really do that one here. So just FYI, if you want to stay on. So, I'm going to talk about habits that I would love for you to try to implement because I am a health coach and a life coach. And what I hear all the time is, well, I meant to. And oh, yeah, I know you told me to take that, but I forgot. Or, oh, you know what? It's still in my cabinet. So I think so many times we get busy, and guess who gets put on the back burner? We do, ourselves. So I want to ask you right now, if you're one of those people, I want you to commit that you're going to open your cabinet and take out some things I'm going to talk about if you have them. And if you don't, we have the Black Friday sale coming up Monday. You might want to get some things. But I want to talk habits because I can talk all day long about what you need. But if you don't make them part of your everyday, just like you brush your teeth, you put on deodorant, I hope, you take showers, I hope. If you don't make it habit, then I could talk all day long and it's not going to help. So I'm going to talk to you about pulling some things out, and during this time, maybe you need to sit them on your kitchen cabinet or your island, or if you're used to keeping them in a cabinet and you just keep forgetting, put them out there. It's your kitchen, it's your island, whatever. And that goes for bathroom too. There's going to be a couple of things I talk about in there. So that's why I want to talk about habits. So I'm going to start with actually daytime calming. Um, because a lot of times we tend to go into our precious things like valor, peace and calming, always lavender, always stress away, and those are incredible. Um, and so we always talk about how those are super calming, and they are. They're wonderful. I love always the videos of the little babies that are crying, and they just do the peace and calming under their nose, and they instantly quit crying. It's just amazing to watch. I love it. So, what I'm going to do is talk about some things to keep our body in a good place in the daytime so that we can not have to hit a wall in the stress throughout the day. So, I want to talk about Super C, and let me flip over here. Because Super C helps with physical stress. So if you take Super C every day, you probably need 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams. But whatever our Super C, if you will take a Super C morning and night, especially during this time of year, it's going to help with physical stress. It has something like rutin, biotin, bioflavonoids, and trace minerals that are going to balance your electrolytes. just from Super C. So when you're balancing your electrolytes, guess what? Your body's going to perform better. It's going to take in the water that you give it. It's going to perform better. So let's talk real quick that make sure during this time of year, I just got a brand new Stanley cup that was a gift that I love from a women in leadership development that I taught. And I just got it last night and I've never had a Stanley. But if you fill up something that you know is 40 ounces, you can just tell yourself and you leave it sitting out, you're going to have two of those before 3 or 4 o'clock so that you know you're going to be sipping and getting that water, drinking a lot of that water. And so that's going to help even the things that you're taking work better. And put a little pinch of real salt in there because there's a lot of minerals in there that will help you absorb that. So now let's go. I want to talk about Super B. And you're saying, okay, I thought we were just talking about calming. We are, because Super B is going to fire your brain and help your brain. And guess where stress comes from? When we feel like we're overwhelmed and we can't think and our brain's not working and we're pulling our hair out, right? So if we're taking our Super B every day, and if somebody's feeling really out of it or really just out of sorts, you can take two in the morning and two at lunch. I wouldn't take them any later than that in the day, but only if you're feeling like that. Remember that all of our supplements, I've got it right here. All of our supplements on the back is going to tell you what to take if you're a healthy person. Okay. So if you're a healthy person, then that's what it's going to say that you need. So hang on, I'm having a hard time with my view right here. So what we want to do is make sure that we're taking Super B because this is so cool. And I didn't really realize this about our amazing Super B until today. It is a special formula that isolates. And you say, why would you want it to isolate? Listen up. It isolates various vitamins so that they release at different times in the day. How cool is that? And all of these is what Gary, when Gary Young was putting all these things together, that's also how he realized that the essential oils, when he added them, it helped our body to absorb better because those essential oil molecules can go through the blood-brain barriers. They're so small, they can go over 400 times. All these other medications, that's why they have such a hard time with them not crossing the blood-brain barrier because they're too big. So when he put the essential oils in our supplements, then our body absorbs it better. So I'm going to get the glare off of my glasses here. So we want to be taking every day our Super C and our Super B so that our bodies are performing better in the daytime and we're feeling better. Now, another one, let me look right here. So let me stop right here and say this too, before I go into one of my favorites. Now, well, two things, two favorites right here. So another thing you want to remember is your multigreens. Well, I thought I read this in a little note down on that. But multigreens have so many awesome things in them that are going to help, and especially, I did write it down, especially the choline. The choline that's in this is going to help your energy factor. So, what does stress do to us? It depletes us. It makes us feel tired. It makes us just want to quit because we've just been so like this. And you know what that is? Is it your adrenals? They're stressed out and then they will crash. And when they crash, then you're just like, I can't do anymore. I can't, I've got to have a nap. So, and by the way, naps are good. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the key is you want to make sure you're keeping your body regulated in the daytime and getting that Super C, that Super B that's going to enrich your body to do what it needs, along with your multigreens, so that that choline is going to give you that extra boost of energy to get things done. Another one is super magnesium. Now, I love our super magnesium. I sleep so good with it. And so you say, well, why would you take it in the morning? Actually, our bodies lose magnesium pretty easily throughout the day. It's not one that stays with us all day long. So we have to take it at intervals. So I like to take at least one, if not two, in the morning, and then I take two, excuse me, to three at night, so that I can always have that in my body and keep everything calm. All of these work together to keep your body synergistically working so that you can get the things done and you're not feeling that stress. Now, along with that, and I've got one more here I'm going to talk about. That's one of my favorites. But along with that, I want to stop right here and say, determine what your stress is. It's okay to stop. Just stop and sit down. I have just been through one of the hardest years I've ever been through emotionally. Just a lot of things going on, different things happening. And it's really bizarre when you teach about these things for years and you're doing all the things you know to do for years. And then all of a sudden, you're hit just smack upside the head. And it seems like you keep getting hit and hit. And I believe that those are God moments to help you reboot, revitalize, and learn from it, so that you can do better. So I'm going to say that what I realize too is sometimes you got to stop. You just have to stop. And you have to say, why am I so bothered by this? Why am I feeling so heavy in my chest? Why am I feeling scared, upset, whatever it is? Why am I feeling anxious? And why is this affecting me like this? And that's really a good time for you to just stop in the daytime. You may be cooking Thanksgiving dinner and feel that on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and you may feel that. And you know what? It's okay. You can stop right then, sit down, I highly recommend you get a pen and piece of paper, and there get your stress away or your peace and calming, and put those all around your neck and sit and breathe them deeply, and just ask God, why am I feeling like this? What is bothering me? And write it down. Just write it down if you need to, and think about it, pray about it, whatever, and give yourself permission to dwell on what is stressing you out. It's okay. Give yourself permission to really look at it. Think about how you feel. Wonder about why you're going through this feeling. Um, if you wonder, we have some of the greatest examples from King David in the Psalms. He asked God all the time, why is this happening? Why am I feeling like this? When is this going to stop? So it's okay. Dwell on it and write about it, and then throw it away. Just throw it away. I'm going to also put in here, if you need a 20-minute nap so that you have the energy to keep going, take a 20-minute nap. Don't go any further. I remember when I was a little girl, my mother wanted everybody in the house to take a nap on Sunday. I was a preacher's kid, and it was a busy time in our house. And she wanted everybody, I don't know where my screen went. Am I here? Yeah. She wanted everybody to take a nap, and I hated it because about the time I would fall asleep, I'd get into this really deep sleep, and then they'd wake us up because we had to go back to church, and I would just feel so drugged, and I never understood why until I was going through health coaching. If you sleep too long in the afternoon, past about 20 minutes, your melatonin starts kicking in and getting stronger. And when that happens, it will give you that drug down, drug out feeling. So you want only just, my daddy used to call them power naps. You just want 15, 20-minute naps. Set your timer and let yourself just relax enough that you can then get up and go about your business. I'm telling you, it can make a huge difference. So be good to yourself. And remember, lavender and cedarwood are always going to be very calming. Now, also, I'm going to put in a plug here for this is something new that I've been doing. Now, I've done nitro forever. I've done it as long as I think I've been in Young Living, probably 12 years that I've been doing nitro. However, I've just had a game changer that I thought I would try, and I love it. So I had always been putting it in my afternoon ninja drink. Those of you may have heard my story, but I suffered with fibromyalgia for 3 years before I got into Young Living. Young Living totally changed my health and my life, and I've never looked back. And one of the things that I discovered really helped me was my afternoon ninja. And I put kombucha in it, and then I always made sure I had a nitro and some oils in there. Well, I have decided with what I've kind of gone through recently that I really found I was waking up too tired, cortisol stress, and I needed a kick in the mornings. And so I don't know if anybody on here remembers they're terrible for you, but the old Cherry Luton cough drops. I used to love those things, but they were more like candy than anything. But that's what the taste of this reminds me of. Don't ask me why. But I have gotten where I love to keep these in the freezer. And I get it out first thing in the morning after I've had my morning water. And I let it sit just long enough to be slushy, and this is my morning treat. And I cannot even tell you what a game changer it has been. It calms me, it helps me focus on what's at hand and what I need to get done for the day. And I really have found that I love it first thing in the morning. You know, the nitro has also the B12 in it. So we love our B12, right? It's got green tea, it's got D-ribose, it's got chocolate, a chocolate oil in it, it's got a vanilla oil in it, it's got all kinds of really yummy things without a caffeine high. But it says right on there for cognitive fitness, and it really works. So that's my game changer on this one. If anybody wants to try that, it's wonderful. But again, when I do that, then I feel like I'm in the moment. Then I feel so focused on what I have at hand to do that I don't let my body get in a stress mode of thinking of all that I have to do and oh my gosh, how am I going to? I hope that makes sense because we have to prepare for our days to be good. Okay, so let me look here and let's see. There was one more thing I wanted to tell you about. Oh, and then I wanted to talk about, this I can't talk about yet. I have to do that after the recording. But I also want to talk to you about uh, do you love being in nature? Have you been blessed to walk on one of our farms? Highland Flats, oh my goodness, when they take us out to walk through the trees, and you know what that smells like and how calming your whole body feels. It's incredible, isn't it? So, guess what? We've got all the things. When you're feeling like you just would love to get out, or you'd love to be in the middle of that forest or whatever, grab your white fir or your grand fir or your pine or your Northern Lights black spruce or your Idaho blue spruce. I mean, the list goes on that we are so blessed with these tree oils. And tree oils are so, so calming. So when you're feeling like that, and here's something to remember is when you're putting it on and you're breathing it and all of that, do a little bit under your nose so that as the day goes on, you're still smelling that some under your nose because you're breathing it in over and over. But there is nothing like, they call it a forest bath. So give yourself a forest bath. Another thing you could do to be calming is take a hot bath with Epsom salts and use these tree oils in your bath, and all of that wonderful smell is coming up out of the heat of the water, and the Epsom salts are going to calm you, put some magnesium in your body, and talk about a nice kickback. Um, so don't forget about your tree oils. And I'm going to tell you one more trick about, yes, and Sacred Mountain too. I see somebody posted that. One more trick about the Idaho Grand Fir, I'm going to tell you in just a minute, that was a total game changer for me. But I'll tell you that in just a second. Those are my last two things to share with you. But I don't want to forget to share a game changer, and that's cortisol. So we know that when we are going through um, stress or we're feeling it, and we know that that comes from our adrenals, right? Um, so we know that we have to do things to calm that down. Um, Cortisol is a game changer. If you've never tried it, it's incredible. And Gary Young actually, which doesn't surprise me, he actually created this for himself years ago. Can you imagine the stress that Gary felt, especially in Ecuador, building the farm in Ecuador? And their lives were threatened, and he was fighting the jungle. He was fighting, big waters and monsoon rains and all kinds of things. But he was facing the people that didn't want him there too. Can you imagine the levels of his adrenals, his cortisol? So he created this to be calming. Now, here's what's neat about cortisol. You can test it just like we were talking about the daily hormones a while ago. Um, I'm sorry, I keep saying cortisol. Cortisol, it's a stop to your cortisol being so high. So you can imagine, it's up to you. It's like we were talking about the hormones. You can test it out and see which way it works best for you. So um, I love to take it at night. Now, it says 1 or 2 at night, and if you're still feeling that, or you've had tests done that they've shown you that you are in adrenal phase 1, 2, or phase 3 is adrenal failure, you want to make sure that you are taking what you need to take for yourself. So you can take 1 to 2 at night, and you can take 1 to 2 in the morning also. Well, last night, I had been taking it at night, and then they suggest several weeks break to make sure you stay in balance with your adrenals. But again, during this time of year, we can get out of sorts. Well, this morning, there were some things I was saying. I wrapped up a class last night. I had a lot of things on my mind with several of the women that I had been teaching. I had some personal things on my mind, and then I had an ex-sister-in-law that I love write me about somebody very close to her with cancer, and I had all these things on my mind. And I found myself waking up super early this morning, which I usually don't do. And I realized that I forgot to take my cortisol the night before. I usually do, but I didn't take it. So I thought, I laid there and thought to myself, am I waiting? Am I dumb to take it? Am I just going to be like in the bed forever this morning? And I thought, to heck with it. So I got up and I went and took a cortisol, and I fell asleep in such a wonderful sleep because I was laying there not able to go back to sleep. I fell into such a good sleep. I mean, I literally felt rested when I woke up. And I didn't sleep super long, any of it, but I just felt calm and rested when I woke up. So, cortisol can be your best friend, and especially during stressful times like the holidays. So, yeah, it's a good one, and can help your body feel more balanced. So the adrenals are wonderful because we need them, and they're going to give us our energy, and they're going to tell us if we're about to have a wreck, or they're going to tell us whatever that is. That's that fight or flight that we need. But the problem is we need it to go back down. And in our day and age, between social media and all the things going on in the world, we stay up here all the time, all the time. So cortisol could be your best friend. So, um, okay, so I have two more stories to tell. And one of them for sure I'm going to do after we turn off the recording, but I'm going to go ahead and tell this one. This one is okay to tell. So I'm going to go back to the grand fir, and I want to tell you how powerful this is in case you don't know. And you may have heard stories like this, or you may have heard my story about this. I don't know. But several years ago, it was after COVID, but it was probably like 21. I think it was 2021. Jeff and I finally decided to take a road trip, and I was driving. We were on the interstate, and we'd gotten to kind of a country part. Grand Fir is my favorite too. We'd gotten to kind of a country roads kind of area with the interstate. We were on the interstate, but thank goodness that's where we were. And I was driving, Jeff was working, and a car in front of us got clipped by a truck, and the car went straight up in the air and started flipping and was coming right toward our car. And we had a friend that died when a car flipped up in the air and came down on his car. And it's amazing how fast your brain works. And guess what? That's that fight or flight. And when it started up, I thank God I was in the right hand lane. I just took off across the grass on the right hand side, bumped all the way across the grass, went up a hill and across a country road before we came to a stop. And when I looked back, that car had flipped a couple of times and had ended upside down exactly where I went off in the grass. So when we stopped, I literally was shaking so bad. I couldn't stop. I mean, there was nothing on my body that wasn't shaking because I saw our lives flash before my eyes. It freaked me out. And and Jeff had jumped out immediately to go check on the guy in the car. So he was down there with him. And then he came, got in the car, and drove us. That thank God there was a rest area just right down the road. And when we stopped, I remembered this. Jim Bob Hagerton had taught me this right before this trip, not long before this trip. Um, and I happened to have it in my bag because I had all my oils in the car because I had my little Feather the Owl. That's my favorite to turn on in my car when we're traveling because he sits so flat and he takes the curve so well. So I'm talking about Feather the Owl diffuser as though it's a real owl, but I love him. But anyway, I remembered this and I couldn't quit. I couldn't quit shaking. My voice was just staccato. And so I just told him, I said, put 12 drops in a capsule. And I had them, I told him in my bag where they were. And so he took the grand fir, put it in a capsule, and I took it. And I was just a basket case thinking how close we came to death. And in about 12 minutes, I kid you not, all of a sudden, I described it as it felt like angel wings brushed down my entire spine, just all the way down my spine. And I instantly felt the most amazing calm, and all the shaking stopped. And I was just blown away. And that's what I had been told, that Idaho Grand Fir um, is so calming, and taken in capsules in larger amounts can really help. So that was my experience, that it helped me tremendously. So this is a good one to have on hand, and use it as you wish. For me, that's what I did. Use it as you wish, but that's my story. So, all right. So I guess I'll open it. Amanda, should we open it to questions first? And then I've got one more story when we turn off the recording. Or do we do the questions off the recording? I
You
mean,
can do
without
it.
the,
You can do it whichever way you'd like. I think both are really good. So if we're anybody, they could put their questions in the chat box and we could decide if some of them could be answered really easily on the video.
okay. Does anybody have any questions or any thoughts? Um,
We've not too many so far in the chat. Maybe people have a good, okay.
yes, yes. I'm answering yes to the chat. Um, okay, and then somebody's saying about Peggy. Good. And may I just say right here too, don't forget somebody was talking about Grand Fir and bergamot. Yes, and I'm sorry about your husband passing, but I will also say that remember all of our citruses. Citruses can be very calming. Two of my favorite for calming are tangerine and bergamot. Um, they just, I don't know if it's uh, just growing up, we had, the oranges and all the things, and it's a sweet memory. I don't know. I just know they're very, very calming. Um, and so remember that those can help also. Cortisol is for men as well. It was actually Gary created it for himself. That's what I was saying. He created it for everyone, but he created it for himself because of all the stress that he was going through. Um, yes, bergamot, a great perfume. Um, and yes, tangerine. And last night I diffused tangerine and pine together, and it was really nice by my bed. That's another thing that I didn't say or bring up, but also remember. Um, so I talked about daytime because that's when you notice your stress. But you also, if you take care of your daytime, your nighttime's going to be better because you've taken care of things throughout the day. You've drunk your water, you've taken your supplements, you've used your oils. And so, what's really good then is you kind of prepared your body. And let me say this, I didn't have this in my notes, but this is a big one to remember. Besides writing things down or letting yourself, giving yourself permission to dwell on something and then let it go. But something else to remember is to get your mind and body ready for sleep. Um, so many times, especially as women, especially if you had babies, we learned we learned early on, that we have to keep going around the clock, whether it was breastfeeding or getting up in the night or whatever it was with our babies or taking care of somebody sick or whatever it was. We kind of trained ourselves that, like I said, that we're kind of last because we learned to take care of everybody else first. And I believe it's kind of my concept. The more I talk to people and study it, that we've kind of trained ourselves in our brains that when nighttime comes, it's very hard for us to calm down and go to sleep. I had a woman that told me that just the other day. She said, I feel like I get to nighttime and go, okay, what else do I have to get done before I go to bed? What else do I have to get done before I go to bed? Think about that. So that's given us more activity and more things that we have to think about before we can calm down. And what we actually need to be doing, we need to actually be calming ourselves and we need to be thinking, and y'all are going to think this is silly, but you need to actually go, oh my, I'm so excited. It's almost time for me to go to sleep. Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm going to bed soon. You start telling yourself that, and you literally start training your brain that it's time. It's time for you to calm down and let go. You also start diffusing in your bedroom so that that smell gets in there before you go in. Make sure your bedroom is a sanctuary. Make sure that it's not got TV blaring because that's one of the worst things you can do. Or even music playing in there. You don't want that unless it's very soft, relaxing music. Um, let's see, I think somebody was in the waiting room again. But we want to make sure that we tell ourselves this is what we're doing. And Marcella Von Harding, one time, I just told her this on the cruise that we all just went on with Lubai and Experience Young Living. And she cracked up. She said, that's awesome that you remember that. But years ago in 2018 at the beauty school, she was teaching about our conscious language. And one of the things she said that when we're going to bed at night, we need to envision something because that will make us think of drifting. So when we're going to sleep, um, we're drifting off to sleep. We need to quit saying we're falling asleep, because falling is not a good thing to fall. So she said, I want you to picture or create right now in your mind something drifting. So I literally created snow drifts on top of a mountain, and I don't know why, but I created a red pickup truck with me in it driving up to the snow drifts. And I was thinking all about the snow drifts. And then when it got to be summertime, I thought, I can't think about snow in the summertime. So I changed it to the ocean with the sand drifts. And literally, because I trained my brain that that was what I was going to sleep when I thought of that, literally in the night, if I wake up, um, which I don't wake up a lot, but if I do, I can think of that and don't remember anything till the next day. So it really works. So train your brain that you're excited and looking forward to going to sleep. Another trick, if you wake up in the night, it's frustrating because you've got things to do the next day. So we can get, as they said on Saturday Night Live years ago, we can get verklempt. We can get so upset and bothered that then we lay there upset that we woke up. So you want to take your stress away, and this also works for me really well. And I lay it. I don't even have to look for it. I wear an eye mask because any light, if you don't have blackout shades or things like that, any light coming in your room is going to reflect into your retinas and wake you up. But I literally will take stress away and lay the bottle, take the lid off, lay the bottle right here under this ear. And if you want something to get in quickly, go through your jawline right here, under your chin, all the way across the bone. Take that stress away bottle and end on that ear. Rub it all in and down your neck and put a little under your nose. Try it. I bet you'll wake up in the next morning and go, wow, I went back to sleep. So, again, all of those are things to help us better through the holidays, to stay calm and have better days with what we're doing. And one last thing I'll say, and then we'll turn it off and I'll tell you what, the recording off, and I'll tell you one last story. Um, One thing to remember about the holidays is to remember, try to remember the specialness of them instead of the frustration of them. Because we can get hung up on all the frustrating things we have to do. And one of my tips that has helped me is go ahead and buy, if you're the cook, go ahead and buy your stuff now. Have it in your house already. Don't do a last minute run to the store and freak yourself out when everybody else is in the store. Go ahead right now. We've got 2 weeks before it's Thanksgiving. Go get all of the recipe needs you need and just store them so that you can calmly, when you're ready, start cooking. And you don't have to go, oh, I've got to go to the store, because we add all these layers to ourselves. Um, so just enjoy the holidays and be thankful for them. And our oil of the month was abundance. So just remember what you're blessed with, the abundance of it, and put on your oils and take your supplements and enjoy that time. All right. So I'm going to turn the recording off and stop recording.